The Lakers are a first-round exit right now.
Yeah, they are.
If they face anybody from the level of Minnesota or up, they're done for. Even Houston will knock them out. Minnesota, San Antonio, Houston, OKC knock them out. No
But
problem.
Yannick Conan Niederhauser is playing pretty well for the Clippers now.
Anyone who has a competent center, Denver sweeps you. And guess what? If you have a competent center, if you have Mark Williams, Phoenix sweeps you. Hey, why were you on the phone going for Daniel Gafford? A real center who can play basketball. You have to release DeAndre Ayton. You have to send him back to the free agency pool because he is a net negative in every way for this team. I don't care about the 16 points a game he's averaging. Let him walk. Get him out of this team.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Two Bros Podcast. As always, I am Bryce, and I am joined by...
Hey, I'm Matt. We are doing another episode on Riverside, so once again, let us know what you guys are thinking of the podcast.
So, we have a lot, and I mean a lot, of NFL news.
Guys, lock it.
WWE, NFL, NBA. We're talking a lot of it today. So, first we're going to start with the WWE because there's a lot less WWE than there is the other stuff talking wise. So first is Rhea Ripley wins the Women's Elimination Chamber match and will face Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the Women's Championship. And they've been going back and forth on social media right now. And I'm hearing reports that all of their beef is legitimate.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this. I feel like Rhea Ripley's great, but she's a little overpushed at this point. I would have loved to have seen somebody a bit younger, someone newer, or an Alexa Bliss. Like, I know she wasn't... There was no real chance she was going to win that, but I feel like someone like Alexa Bliss made the most sense. Rhea Ripley really should have stuck with this tag title reign a lot longer. I think her and Io Sky had a lot of great work they were doing there. So I think if they wanted to create the tag titles to be more dominant and be more impactful, keeping it on them longer. And let's be honest, we know Rhea's probably going to win this match. It is Rhea Hogan at this point. So Jade Cargill's solid reign is going to end a little earlier than it should.
All right.
For the wrong, my opinion, Bianca Belair should be the one.
Yeah, but Bianca hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania, so who knows when she's going to be back. So Randy Orton wins the Men's Elimination Chamber match after Drew McIntyre interferes and costs Cody Rhodes the match and will face the WWE Champion at WrestleMania. There's a reason why I haven't said who the champion is yet, because we don't know who it's going to be, because Drew McIntyre will defend his WWE Championship on Friday night against Cody Rhodes. Meaning, I think Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton is going to happen at WrestleMania because we have to have Cody with a championship.
Yeah, to me, I think it feels pretty obvious because they didn't give us Drew versus Jacob Fatu at Survivor, Elimination Chamber. So it feels like it's going to be Drew versus Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania or Drew versus Nick Aldis. I feel like their best bet would actually be doing a fatal four-way of Drew versus Cody versus Randy versus Fatu. But sadly, I feel like Cody's going to win this title on Friday. Actually, what? Tomorrow, 2 days from now?
Yeah.
We're recording on a Wednesday, by the way. Sadly, Cody's probably going to win the title, but I do think he'll drop it to Randy at WrestleMania.
So Penta wins the Intercontinental Championship from Dominic Mysterio on Monday Night Raw 2 nights ago after Finn Balor stops JD McDonough from helping Dom cheat.
Yeah, I feel like this was another bad decision. I think Penta doesn't need it. I really think that Penta would have been better off actually chasing the tag titles with his brother. I think the title should have went to Finn. I think Dom should have won the match and faced Finn at WrestleMania for the title as the one-on-one we're going to get from them. I do think the only thing that should come out of this is Finn winning that match at WrestleMania.
Okay, so that was the WWE portion. Now we're going to move on to to most of what we're going to talk about because there's a lot of NFL stuff.
This is like 90%
happening soon.
podcast.
So we're going to talk first because this happened yesterday and surprised everybody because Pro Bowl center Drew Dahlman has informed the Bears that he is retiring at age 27. He signed a 3-year, I think it was $57 million contract with the Bears last offseason.
On a really, really good contract, especially for a young team who has to pay Caleb Williams at some point, is going to have to give Rome Odunze money, and is going to actually probably end up giving Kyle Monangai some money next offseason. This is huge. He was the anchor of their offensive line, probably the reason they were as good as they were. I know Joe Tooney won the pretty much Lineman of the Year award, but you do not get the team you have without Drew Dahlman.
Yeah, Drew Dahlman was the guy that was calling the shots The center is usually the quarterback of the offensive line. They make all the reads. They pretty much dictate where everything's going. So this is going to be huge. And Caleb Williams, it's going to be a huge loss for the Bears. And I don't know.
I read a lot online saying that you're going to see them trying to get Tyler Lindenbaum, but I highly believe he'll end up with the Giants. He's a John Harbaugh guy through and through. I don't think he goes anywhere else with the Giants or the Ravens. So I think this is going to put them in a bit of a bind. I think you could see their offensive line that was outstanding fall off a little bit. It's still going to be great. You still have some really good players on that line, but people do not realize how great the center is. Let's talk about how big Jason Kelsey was to this Eagles offensive line. The year he goes away, their tush push is not nearly as effective, and they fall off a lot. So the center is much more important than people realize.
It really is.
And Bryce, who played center, when we had our flag football team, Bryce was our center. And when Bryce was in as center, he held the line down. When we swapped him out, our quarterback was rushed like crazy. Mm-hmm. The center makes the most sense and is the person who is the most influential in the offense.
It is. Yeah, no, and I think a lot of people are discounting the value that centers bring. And as you said before, they're the most. It's outside of the left tackle, it's the most important position of the offensive line. But next, we have the Vikings are open to trading Pro Bowl edge rusher Jonathan Grenard.
I just want the Vikings to do the funniest thing and send him to the Texans as well to pair back up with Danielle Hunter. I think realistically we're going to see a team whoever misses out on Max Crosby is probably going to be calling about Jonathan Grenard. So I honestly I'd see a team like the Bears. I see a team like the Cowboys, Bengals, your Texans, Niners. I feel like any of those teams who miss out on Max Crosby, who I do think will be a Cowboy, is going to make a move for Grenard.
So now, this is big. We're going to talk about the Vikings later because there is a lot of Vikings offseason news, especially on the defensive side. But next, the Texans trade left tackle Titus Howard to the Browns in exchange for a fifth-round pick who signs a 3-year, $63 million deal to stay with the Browns. What is up with the Texans trading the biggest position of need every single offseason?
Yeah, last offseason, we watched how they sent out
Laramie
Tunsil, who was the only reason C.J. Stroud was even able to stay up as much as he was. And now you give up your other left tackle. I mean, he was one of the only players on his offensive line who really held his own. And you can see it's because first off, the Browns have always had a pretty decent offensive line. They gave this man money right away because he deserved it.
Yeah.
I really feel for ZC. If the Texans don't address their offensive line this offseason, I am petrified for what happens to C.J. Stroud.
Yep. And the bust term is going to start coming in, and I don't necessarily think it's fully C.J. Stroud.
Not. Yes, he is a very inaccurate quarterback at times, but the guy is running for his life 24/7.
So next one, this kind of hurts me. I don't know how I feel about it right now because the Colts are expected to franchise tag Daniel Jones. Newsflash, they didn't. They transition tagged him for $39.8 million, meaning he is under contract with the Colts, but he can talk to other teams and negotiate, and the Colts can match any offer sheet he receives.
So I believe we saw this happen a few years ago with Lamar Jackson, correct?
I don't know. I think he's just the second quarterback ever to be transition tagged.
So I'm going to be honest. He's not going to get the offers he thinks he is. I think he will be back with the Colts.
No, he wanted a huge contract, and the Colts were not willing to give him the huge contract he wanted.
I think realistically, with how heavy this quarterback free agency is going to be, with some of the things we talk about later on, I just don't think there's the money that's going to go around for him, especially with there being 5 viable starting options in free agency right now.
Yeah. And what, he's in that because Russell Wilson's a free agent, Kirk Cousins is a free agent, Tua, Kyler Murray, Zach Wilson's a free agent, Malik Willis is a free agent.
Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to be a free agent.
Jacoby Brissett's possibly available. Some Bajan's potentially available. Davis Mills is potentially available.
There's a lot of the guys we mentioned who Daniel Jones is significantly better than. I would take Daniel Jones over Tyson Bagent, Davis Mills, even Jimmy Garoppolo, Malik Willis. I would take him over Kyler Murray. I would take him over Tua. I heard Geno Smith is potentially a buyout candidate, another guy who is a starter with experience. I just don't think Daniel Jones gets the money he wants because a lot of teams are going to expect to go for a guy like Tua or Kyler, who their former team is paying majority of their salary. You're going to have a Russell Wilson type situation where you pay him a minimum.
Yeah. And now this pivots because the Colts are pivoting to sign Alec Pierce to a long-term deal now after they could not agree to a long-term deal with Daniel Jones. Quite frankly, I love this. I thought that they should have signed him during the season to prevent this from happening. I love Alec Pierce, and I get he's never had more than 57 catches in a season, but over the last 2 years, he's averaging 21.3 yards a catch, which is the highest yards per catch in the NFL over the last 2 seasons.
So Alec Pierce, and I am not saying he is on the same level as this person at all, but he gives me a lot of JSN 2 years ago. JSN was crowded by DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. You let the two of them go, and he explodes. I do not think Alec Pierce is as good as him, but I think your best bet is moving off Michael Pittman and giving Alec Pierce the ability to be your number one guy. You still have Josh Downs. You still have other players who you can run with. Let Alec Pierce go. This year's a wash. Even if you bring back Daniel Jones, he's going to miss over half the season. Let the young guy play. And I'm sorry, if you're the Colts, keep Anthony Richardson. Let him play. Because you had Daniel Jones on a 1-year deal anyways. If Anthony Richardson balls out, you hold on to him and let Daniel Jones walk.
That's what I forgot to talk about, is the Colts. Anthony Richardson's not playing with the Colts again because they're looking to move him, and he has requested a trade. Oh, wait, no, I did find it somewhere. I did write it somewhere on here.
Well, when we get to that, we can just skip it.
Okay. Now, the Lions, this one happened out of nowhere. The Lions traded David Montgomery to the Texans in exchange for offensive line Juice Scruggs, a 4th, and a 5th. And it really didn't come out of nowhere because there were reports that David Montgomery was unhappy, and then he disputed those claims, and then a few hours later, he was traded.
Yeah, I think it's ironic. As a Packers fan, I love this. I'm very glad to see him out of my division. But I think the Texans got a great player, especially if Joe Mixon can come back healthy. This 1-2 punch of him and Joe Mixon, he might be gone, but even if he doesn't come back healthy, you still have a good Woody Marks. I think David Montgomery's a guy who can anchor down your running game, and if you can bring in a decent speedy back alongside of him, you're going to have a field day. Now, guess what? This is no Sonic and Knuckles.
Pretty good. Jawar Jordan is pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
This is no Sonic and Knuckles. Jahmyr Gibbs is better than every option that they have available. But, I mean, for a team who struggles to run the ball, getting a guy like David Montgomery is going to really help you a ton. Now, losing your offensive line, it's going to make his life a lot harder.
Yeah. Now, the Titans are trading nose tackle Devondre Sweat to the Jets for edge rusher Jermaine Johnson. This was the first trade of the NFL offseason. And I think this is a win-win for both teams because Jermaine Johnson goes to the coach who drafted him, and then Devondre Sweat goes to a team who has a solid offense or defensive line that only gets even stingier. And now you're not going to be able to run on this defensive line.
I think this is more of a win for the Titans than anything else. I like what the Jets are getting out of this. I think the Titans needed somebody who can command attention. Jermaine Johnson is that guy, and I really think that we're going to see Robert Saleh unlock him with a better regime around him than the dumpster fire that is the New York Jets.
And I think this signifies that Arvell Reese will be a Jet at pick 2, which we love I love my Ohio State guys. I'm an Ohio State fan, for those of you who don't know. The Ohio State Buckeyes will have 4 top 10 picks in the
Penn State.
So let that sound. Next, this trade happened this morning. The Rams are trading a 2026 first, which is the 29th pick, which is theirs, a 5th-round pick, a 6th-round pick, and a 2027 3rd-round pick to the Chiefs for Trent McDuffie. The Rams are just allergic to having their own first-round pick. They have drafted, since 2016, they have drafted with their own first-round pick once, and it was Jared Verse 3 years ago.
Jared Verse, yeah.
They've traded every first-round pick with the exception of one that they own since 2017.
They hit on that one pick, I'll say that.
That's true.
I think this is a win-win, but I think it's more of a win for the Chiefs. We know the Chiefs are punting on the season. They don't expect Mahomes to be back full health, and I don't think they expect Gardner Minshew to pull them through the season. So they realize Travis Kelce's probably retiring. I think we know they're punting on the season, so get a good draft pick. You now have 2 picks that are going to be very solid for you. You can either use them to move up or just take take the players at the spot. They have multiple picks. I think Trent McDuffie is an outstanding player, probably a top 20 corner in the league, but there was no space for him on this team. So
And
I think before
they're
you have to
trying
pay
to
the
get
guy,
cheaper too. So
before you have to pay the guy even more, send him to a team who needs him.
but they had to get cheaper. They got cheaper, and we'll talk about a big one later. The Seahawks of Rashid Shaheed are not close on the contract extension. He is expected to test free agency on Monday.
Rashid, I know you're not watching this podcast, but the best fit for you is the Bills. Imagine Josh Allen throwing to Rashid Shaheed.
The deep threats in Gabe Davis and Rashid Shaheed. Although Gabe Davis tore his ACL. So
Yeah, but still, Rashid Shaheed would be the number one on this team that they need. He would open up the field for Keon Coleman if he's still there.
yeah.
I think this team would benefit, and I really would not be surprised if they make a big push for him. Because I know they were trying to trade for him at the deadline as well.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he had 9 touches in Seattle, 6 of which were touchdowns.
He is such a spark plug.
He's
so much of his impact comes on the return game as well.
Look at their divisional round game against San Francisco. They opened the game with a Rashid Shaheed kick return touchdown. That's how the game opens. He is electric. And you saw it in New Orleans. You're seeing it now in Seattle, and you're going to see it wherever he goes, whether he stays in Seattle or he goes anywhere else.
He's going to Buffalo.
So next, the Vikings are expected to release Aaron Jones and Javon Hargrave if they can't find trade partners. It will save them $18.65 million. And also, the Vikings are releasing Jonathan Allen due to salary cap constraints. The Vikings' defensive line just tore apart. They lost 2 defensive tackles.
Now
They might lose Jonathan Grenard. Aaron Jones is probably gone.
Aaron Jones, come home. Come home. Finish out your latter years with a team that gave you your chance and come home. Green Bay's waiting. Because they're probably going to release Josh Jacobs.
I don't think so. With them letting Emmanuel Wilson walk, I think that they're going to keep Josh Jacobs.
I hope so.
Next, the Lions release offensive lineman Graham Glasgow, which will save them $5.5 million.
Yeah, it's hard to watch this Lions offensive line fall apart. I mean, as a Packers fan, I love it. But 2-3 years ago, this offensive line was just the best in the league. And knowing Frank Ragnow's done, knowing they still have Penei Sewell. But his offensive line was outstanding, and now it's really just Penei Sewell and a bunch of nobodies.
Hey, they still have, what's his name? The 6'8" guy that got called for an eligible man downfield or not declaring themselves eligible or something. That dude. Yeah. No, he's gone now. He's gone. So they don't even have him. Next, the Dolphins are releasing former second-round pick offensive lineman Liam Eichenberg, who started 52 games in the NFL. The Dolphins are just getting worse.
Yeah, you watch him play. He wasn't that effective for them. He was a bottom half lineman. I don't think they're going to lose much here. I think he was a bit of a bad pick. They learned their lesson.
He's pretty good. He's a pretty good starting lineman. But next, this is Commanders news. There's going to be more later. But the Commanders are releasing Marshawn Lattimore, saving them $18.5 million.
Yeah, that was a bad trade. I think overall, the guy couldn't stay healthy. Really did not play well when he was healthy. It's a bad trade.
Next,
let him walk.
Yeah, the Texans are releasing Jimmy Ward, saving them $750,000. The Texans just keep getting worse, and it makes me happy. Okay, this is the Chiefs news I was talking about, because the Chiefs are releasing false start man himself, Jawan Taylor, getting $20 million.
Man, I really wanted them to hold on to him.
I know.
How bad he's been. I wanted them to hold on to him.
Okay, this is one of the 2 big ones, because the Dolphins are designating Tua Tagovailoa as a post-June 1st cap casualty, defraying the $99.5 million cap hit he will have.
You know, it kind of transitions right into your next topic as well.
Well, we're going to talk about the one after that, because Kyler Murray is expected to be released by the Cardinals, barring a last-second trade. The Jets and the Vikings are the frontrunners to land him, meaning Tua Tagovailoa, Kirk Cousins, Anthony Richardson, Kyler Murray, and Geno Smith are all being targeted by the Minnesota Vikings to be their quarterback next year.
I think Minnesota is going to go with Kirk Cousins. I think he is going to finish his final years of his career in Minnesota. I think it just makes the most sense for them. Kirk Cousins knows the offense. He knows Kevin O'Connell. I really think you're going to see Tua probably be a Jet, and I think you're going to see Kyler end up with the Falcons or maybe the Steelers.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think Kyler's going to be a Jet. I think he is. Personally,
I think Tua ended up on the Jets.
Can you imagine Kyler and Tua both signing with the Jets next year? And they duke it out for who the starting quarterback is?
That's just not happening.
Alrighty, next the Chargers release guard Mekhi Becton, saving them $9.7 million.
Another terrible signing. We're seeing a lot. 2 years ago, or last offseason, had a lot of bad signings, is what we're noticing. Including the next one we're going to talk about.
I mean, this one wasn't a bad signing. I don't know why it's happening, but the Patriots released Stephon Diggs, who had 1,000+ yards this season.
So, if we are honest, I think they know he's going to get convicted.
And he helped them make the Super Bowl.
Yes, but he's probably going to get convicted, and they're realizing...
Saving them $9 million. He saved them $9 million by getting cut.
I think it's because they know he's going to full on, like, he's going to go to prison. That's why.
Alrighty. Next, the Steelers are releasing Jonnu Smith, saving the Steelers $7 million. There's another last offseason move that just didn't work out. I'm pretty sure both of the guys that they got from Minkah Fitzpatrick are gone. No, Jalen Ramsey's still there. Never mind. But Breece Hall has been franchise tagged by the Jets while they try to work on a long-term deal.
Yeah, I'm sure Chiefs fans are now crying because they thought they were going to get him. Breece Hall, I feel like he's going to be a trade candidate no matter what. I think we kind of know that them giving him a franchise tag is basically saying, hey, give us one more year, and then they're good.
I think Breece Hall he's so good. The problem is he's playing on the poverty Jets, so everybody feels bad for him, but he's going to absolutely cook next year. He's going to. He's going to be the big guy for them. He's going to be huge for them. But this one caught everybody off guard because Kenneth Walker will not be given a franchise tag, meaning he will be a free agent once the year starts, and he's probably not going back to Seattle. How
do you not give the Super Bowl MVP a contract?
The Seahawks are cheap. There's significantly.
Do they really believe that much in their backup?
I mean, Blake Corum, or what's his name? Zach Charbonnet tore his ACL in the playoffs. So
who are they going to have?
George Olney is going to be their starter.
If you're going to let your Super Bowl MVP walk.
Yep.
Makes sense.
They're going to let him walk. But next one is one that everybody has been wanting, everybody expected, although there were some people expected because the Bengals just would do pull a Bengals and do this. Trey Hendrickson will not be franchise tagged, and he will be a free agent. Good. He is finally free, meaning he can go wherever he.
Yeah, he actually posted on his Instagram today saying goodbye to the fans of the Bengal fans.
Everybody knew he was gone. Everybody did. I don't think the Bengals fans blame him at all. He wanted a long-term deal, and the Bengals are too cheap to give him some. And now the Bengals, instead of trading him last in the regular season and getting something for him, let him walk for nothing, ruining another year of Joe Burrow's prime.
And that Shamar Stewart pick is looking rough as well.
Yeah, and they drafted Myles Murphy the year before that.
Another guy who's just not been good.
And Bengals fans, Keldrick Falk is coming to the Bengals. And if you don't like Keldrick Falk, it's because he's a big defensive end, and the Bengals love their big run-stuffing edge rushers.
Even though they could really use some help with the linebackers, or their corners, or their safety.
Offensive line.
Literally anybody besides their defensive tackles.
And receivers and quarterback. And
even tight ends.
I don't know, their corners are pretty good. I think that's the...
I think their biggest need is offensive line and linebacker.
But next, Julian Blackmon re-signs to a one-year deal with the Saints.
That's one that a lot of teams are going to be a little upset by. Julian Blackmon had a really good season. A bit of a resurgence, if you could say, for the Saints. I think a lot of teams were eyeing him as a really cheap contract to get. So him going back to the Saints is going to piss off a lot of teams. One of them being my team.
Yeah. So next, the Panthers place exclusive rights free agent tenders on wide receivers Jalen Coker and Bryson Tremaine, meaning they will be playing for the league minimum. next year for the Panthers. And a lot of people are mad that Jalen Coker is only getting league minimum money. But Jalen Coker is so good, meaning the only team he could have played for next season is the Panthers. And they will work on re-signing Jalen Coker.
Yeah.
Nobody else can take him away next year.
I also think that in the end of the day, he's a younger guy who has still only produced for one season. We know he's been injured a lot.
2 seasons.
I think giving him, I know he only played very well for one, is what I'm saying. Giving him this free agent tender, I think it makes a lot of sense. Bryce and Tremaine, another guy who's young.
I love it.
I think Jalen Coker should be your priority. Keeping him with Ted McMillan. I'm sorry, you could trade Xavier Legette.
Yeah,
that guy he has fallen in the depth chart below an undrafted free agent like Jalen Coker.
He was seen. He was at the Hornets game last night, shooting threes during warm-ups. Xavier Legette.
I mean, that's not the end of the world.
His jump shot's broken.
Yeah, because he's not an NBA player. He's a football player. He's not a very good one, but he's a football player.
Alrighty. Next, Sean Tucker will not be tendered by the Bucks and will be a free agent. He had 320 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns last year. He's going to be a great depth piece for somebody.
I will say, I think he's going to be someone you're going to see, like maybe the Cowboys, the Chiefs, maybe in the Panthers. Whoever does not land a marquee backup
The Panthers
is going to
need a running back.
I'm talking depth. But I think he is going to end up getting a good amount of money from a team who needs depth. I would love to see him go to the Jets and be a backup for Breece Hall. I think they would be a fantastic combo.
Although they do have Isaiah Davis and
I like Isaiah Davis as a backfield, as a better receiving back. I think Sean Tucker would be a fantastic complement to Kenneth Walker.
The Commanders have re-signed 2 of their guys because they signed Shai Tuttle and Dietrich Wise both to 1-year contracts, keeping them from hitting free agency. And this is just them keeping their offense, their defensive line together. And I love this. Yep. And Deron Payne is still there, so this defensive line is going to be solid still as long as he's there. Dietrich Wise is pretty underrated, but yeah, no, I love this for the Commanders.
Yeah, their D-line has been their calling card for the past few years. With every other injury they're having, it seems that their D-line is the only ones that have stayed healthy. I really like this a lot.
They had Montez Sweat and Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne.
I'll be honest, I don't know much about Shai Tuttle, but I know the name Dietrich Wise. I think bringing back players who have been impactful for the best position you have makes a lot of sense.
Next, the Buccaneers exercised the option on punter Riley Dixon's contract, preventing him from becoming a free agent. Good. Tampa, their offense sucked, so they need... Their offense sucks, so they need...
Well, especially because they might lose Mike Evans this offseason.
Godwin might be gone. So,
well, Mike Evans says he only wants to play for a contender who has a quarterback who's very good. That technically is Tampa Bay. They have a great connection. They are contenders. But I think it's really likely to see him making his way to a Baltimore or a Buffalo.
Alrighty. The last NFL news is the Cowboys restructure the contracts of CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, and Tyler Smith to get under the $301.2 million salary.
I think the Cowboys need this. We all know they're trying to make a move for Max Crosby. So restructuring contracts and keeping your better players on a cheaper contract makes sense. I think they're going to land him. I think, while as much as I don't want them to, I'd rather them land him than the Bears. So this is all a move. This is all a move to get Max Crosby, is what it feels like.
Yeah, that's a Micah Parsons replacement right there, Max Crosby.
I still think Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons is better, but Max Crosby is as close a replacement to Micah Parsons as you.
Yeah, if you can walk out with Max Crosby and Quinnen Williams, I feel pretty solid on that. Along with Kenny Clark. I think you...
And then they still have, 2 firsts this year?
What was that?
My laptop. I got news on my laptop.
That also, I hate saying it, DeMarion Overshawn, if he comes back healthy, they could have a really scary defense.
Mm-hmm.
What if Jerry Jones did a good thing? What if this could be a win-win trade?
It actually could be. It actually could.
You can never call a team who gets Micah Parsons a losers of a trade. I'm not going to lie. This is looking pretty good for the Cowboys if they can land Max Crosby.
Okay, now we're moving on to the NBA. Okay, so Trae Young was expected to make his Wizards debut 2 nights ago, but before tip-off, he gets ejected before he can play a single minute.
Yeah, this is probably the most Wizards thing you could ask for. Um, this is just wild. How does Trey Young? How does this happen? How do you get ejected? It's almost like he didn't want to play.
He has more ejections than minutes played. The Wizards.
So it looks like his official debut is going to be against Utah tomorrow.
So yeah, Utah, unless he gets ejected before tip-off again.
I mean, I think this is probably going to lead to the Wizards winning that game, but that's crazy. I think he's going to be very helpful for the Wizards. I don't think he's going to be a guy who makes them win the next 12 games, 13 games straight, but he's going to give them a few wins that they probably don't want to get for their draft stock.
Alrighty. Speaking of somebody that'll help their team, the Nuggets signed Tyus Jones to be their backup point guard.
I absolutely love this. The Nuggets' biggest issue they've had is depth, and I think that you need good point guard minutes when Jamal Murray comes off the floor. And Tyus Jones, while he's been struggling this season, I think he is going to be outstanding with this team. I think he's going to be a guy who you look at kind of like Ty Jerome last year with Cleveland, who just makes this this backup crew so much better.
Yep. And this is a guy who will not turn the ball over. He's very efficient with the ball. He can score if you need him. He's great. He's a great floor general. I love this for the Nuggets. And
What I like the most about it is he buys into the selfless basketball the Nuggets play. Their star is a guy who does not mind putting up 30, but will also get 15 assists with it. This is a very selfless organization, a selfless team. He fits in so perfectly with that.
Alrighty, next the Grizzlies sign Olivier Maxence Prosper to a new 2-year deal after he got traded. I'm pretty sure he came from the Mavericks. Yes, he came from the Mavericks, and he's been averaging 16 and 8 since he's become a Grizzly.
Yeah, I think, the Grizzlies are a fun team. If you can stack up assets that are pretty good for you, hold on to them. Olivier Maxence Prosper is not an older, he's still a younger player.
He's a third-year
who
guy
you
now.
can look at. What was that?
He's a third-year guy now.
He is someone you can look at as maybe not a future star for you, but a future rotational player. And your rotational players are so important in the NBA now that you got to lock them up early.
They are.
Especially before they get expensive.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about my team, the Los Angeles Lakers, because DeAndre Ayton
I'm going to let you rant.
been under fire recently for his comments saying that he needs to play like Clint Capella. He took offense to it, saying that he's not Clint Capella, and Clint Capella responded by saying he has 2 of the best floor generals of all time on his team right now. And DeAndre Ayton is now getting less minutes than Jackson Hayes, who was a throwaway by 2 teams before he got to the Lakers.
Do you want to handle DeAndre Ayton?
Listen, you guys knew, if you've been following my TikTok for a while, I was the biggest supporter of DeAndre Ayton coming to the Lakers. I thought this was the piece that the Lakers needed. I thought he was the final piece to put. I thought he was the cherry on top of the cake that was going to make the Lakers a title contender, because he was going to be motivated again to play with Luka and to play with LeBron, 2 guys who can get him the ball, 2 guys who can throw him lobs often, and he has just looked like Portland DeAndre Ayton, but worse. He does not care about playing basketball. He does not. He likes the perks of being an NBA player, but he doesn't like actually getting better. And when you take offense to being compared to someone who has been a starting center in the NBA for the last 10 years now and has made almost $300 million by playing a role, you need to look yourself in the mirror and ask, what can I do to help the Lakers win? And if that's being Clint Capella, guess what? You're going to be Clint Capella.
And I'm sorry, if you look at the stats from that night, Clint Capella had a better game.
He did. He had, 5 blocks that night?
5 blocks. It was 5.6 rebounds, 5 blocks. Another thing that people need to talk about here is, fine, you don't want to be Clint Capella, be Andre Drummond.
Be Phoenix.
Catch a lob, and rebound the ball. That's all you have to do. Clint Capela's right. You have two of the best facilitators in the league, and then you also have Austin Reeves, who's really good at making shots for other people. How are you not efficient? How are you not averaging 19 a game, just sitting there catching the ball and dunking it? He plays such lackluster, boring defense. He doesn't care. I'm sorry, this man, he is a number one overall pick, has some of the best intangibles you can ask for, but his motor is nothing.
He's one of the most skilled centers the NBA has ever seen.
When he tries, this man is outstanding. He is the same person last year who didn't come to a game because he couldn't get out of his driveway. You're a millionaire. You can afford to pay people to shovel you out. There's no excuse. I got to my job after we got 3 feet of snow. There is no coming back from this. This will be DeAndre Ayton's final NBA contract. You will never see him play again. He will be Roy Hibbert. You will go down as Roy Hibbert.
No, Roy Hibbert was better because at least he understood his...
You're right. Roy Hibbert cared. He tried. He just wasn't that good. He gave it his effort. And I feel for Jackson Hayes. I feel for Maxi Kleber because they had to pick up these minutes they shouldn't be playing from a former potential all-star, a number one overall pick who doesn't want to put the effort in.
And you are making people change the narrative on maybe the fact that the Mavericks won this trade because DeAndre Ayton is playing so bad right now. DeAndre Ayton is making the Lakers and Luka Doncic look like they don't even belong anywhere in relevant discussions for anything.
Like, if we can be honest, the Lakers are a first-round exit right now.
Yeah, they are.
If they face anybody from the level of Minnesota or up, they're done for. Even Houston will knock them out. I don't know if they can get through. I don't know if they can get through what's it called, the Clippers.
No, they can beat the Clippers. They can beat the Clippers.
I'm sorry, Minnesota, San Antonio, Houston, OKC knock them out. No problem.
Yannick Conan Niederhauser is playing pretty well for the Clippers now. So
anyone who has a competent center, Denver sweeps you. And guess what? If you have a competent center, if you have Mark Williams, Phoenix sweeps you.
Yeah.
If you get Daniel Gafford, hey, why were you on the phone going for Daniel Gafford? A real center who can play basketball. You have to release DeAndre Ayton. You have to send him back to the free agency pool because he is a net negative in every way for this team. I don't care about the 16 points a game he's averaging. Let him walk. Get him out of this team.
Yeah, no, he is so bad. He is absolutely terrible. And I was the biggest DeAndre Ayton defender once he came to the Lakers, but I can't anymore. I can't. I haven't paid attention to Lakers basketball this year, and I think DeAndre Ayton's been the main reason why.
It's hard. He's hard to watch. If you watch them, he'll stand there when someone goes right by him on defense. He doesn't try to rebound the ball. It's atrocious. It's really bad.
Alrighty. Next, the big talking point of the NBA stuff is since arriving in Atlanta, Jonathan Kuminga has averaged 21.3 points, 7.7 rebounds, 3.3 assists, and 1.7 steals per game. Also, the Hawks are 3-0 in games he has played. The Warriors, since the trade, have lost Steph Curry to injury. Kristaps Porzingis has played one game and scored 12 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 1 block, and are 2-4 since.
If we can talk about whose fault this is, it's Draymond Green. So let's talk about who the Warriors were.
When she turned 36 today. Happy birthday, Draymond Green.
Let's talk about who the Warriors were. Yeah, happy birthday to arguably one of the greatest defensive, undersized defenders of all time. But let's talk about who the Warriors were about 4 years ago. They were coming off a title. They had a sixth man of the year. They had Steph Curry, who was still playing ball very well. Andrew Wiggins, who was looking good.
Klay Thompson.
They had Draymond Green. A single punch ruined this. Because your ego could not handle that Jordan Poole was becoming the new guy. You still had Klay Thompson at that point, by the way, who wasn't as good but was playing good basketball. A single punch ruined this team. And I'm sorry, if you look at the on-off numbers, the team is way better without Draymond on the floor. This third option, this next guy to Steph Curry, he's non-existent. You can't play him. He is so efficiently bad. And this is even a defense now. The stats prove he's a defensive liability at this point. And you moved off a guy who, there's 3 games, I understand the sample size, who's balling out for a team who's in the play-in, who has a chance. You're falling. You might be overtaken by what's it called? Utah, not Utah. Sorry, who's the 11
I
seed?
think it was Sacramento.
No, Sacramento's the worst. I believe Sacramento's the worst team in the league. Besides, I'm sorry, you might be overtaken by Memphis.
Memphis, who has a worse roster and is actively trying to win right.
Clippers and the Blazers will pass them. Memphis may overtake them. Dallas could overtake them. And I'm sorry, you can't just sit here and be like, oh, well, you need Steph. With the Steph on the court, his stats are still negative in the on-off. Draymond Green has ruined this team by his ego. And I'm sorry, Steve Kerr should be fired. If you watch how much he ruined Jonathan Kuminga, he killed the confidence. He made Jonathan Kuminga's he made Jonathan Kuminga's value so low. You get a constantly injured Kristaps Porzingis for him,
who is dealing with a disease or something that he doesn't know if he would ever be a consistent NBA player again. That's how bad it is.
A 23-year-old, you move off for a 30-year-old who may never play basketball the same again because your ego, because you don't want to change the way you coach basketball, because you still think it's the Splash Bros day. Yeah, your championships were handled by Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green in their primes. You don't have that anymore. Steph Curry is 37 years old. And he's injured. Jimmy Butler is injured. Kristaps Porzingis can't play. And Draymond Green is a bum. You moved off your only future piece. By the way, you didn't want to get Laurie because you didn't want to move off B-Pods. Really, B-Pods is a serviceable backup at best. Moses Moody, who you did move off of, was a serviceable backup at best. You sold so low on Jonathan Kuminga that Hawks fans are saying, thank you, Warriors. And you gave up Buddy Hield, who was an outstanding shooter, who you needed. Guess what? You can't hit threes right now. What do you think Buddy Hield would have done for you? This team is despicable, and they're going to ruin the latter years of Stephen Curry's career because of terrible coaching and terrible management. Mike Dunleavy, fire him. Steve Kerr, fire him. I think we lost Bryce.
Hello, you there? You there?
Oh, we lost Bryce. That's weird.
Uh-oh, I think we're having technical difficulties. I do
not know what happened there.
But I think what he was trying to say is, this front office is terrible.
Yeah, Steve Kerr,
this coaching staff is terrible.
I'm actually
Steve Kerr
Bryce right
is
now
relishing off the fact that he stepped in to the most privileged situation the coach has ever been stepped
really
in.
Good for us. We're enjoying it a lot so far. But there are
having Steph, Klay, and Draymond.
But that was actually the entire topics we had. Just in case Bryce can't rejoin, I'll close this out by myself. You guys know what to do. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. We'll see you all in the next episode. Peace.
Yeah, but